What you learn in the movies or what you think is funny may get you thrown into prison after a self-defense situation. And today, we're going to take a look at how not to let yourself fall into that trap, right after the channel intro. Remember, you are ultimately responsible for protecting yourself and for providing for yourself. Live your life with honor and integrity, and always be the wolf hunter. Don't be the sheep, and never be the wolf. Welcome to this community. I'm an avid prepper, an oath keeper, and I'm certified to teach firearms and the use of deadly force through my state's police academy. If you want to learn true prepping skills and how to protect yourself without getting arrested, then please subscribe to this channel.
Hey folks, welcome back to Ethical Preparedness. You folks know who I am. Today we're going to be shooting several videos with these fine gentlemen here. These guys are good guys. They're part of my prepping group. Consider these guys brothers. Again, they're excellent guys.
So I've had several times where a community group or a family group has asked me to give them firearms training since I'm certified to instruct in firearms and use of force law. And my firearms training is usually the same to each group or person that I give it to. We'll go over safety, then shooting fundamentals, then actual shooting, and then I bring in actual deadly use of force concerns. And then I try to have them finish up with getting into the habit of using voice commands when they pull their weapon, just so I can try to instill habits into them that will help keep them out of legal trouble should they have to use their firearm in self-defense. But every time I give training to a group like this, it just never fails. At least one person in that group will let out a slew of insults and curse words come flying out of their mouth when they pull their handgun and point it at their target that's representing the bad guy. And I'm sure that if you've done any training like this yourself, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Tackleberry, you try it. Same situation. All right. Here is the house. Here's the window. I'm the burglar. I'm coming out of the house, over the hedge. I've got the stolen stereo in my hand.
Stop that stereo before I blow your off!
So when that happens, everybody in the group usually gets a chuckle and laughs. But I found that unless I correct that pretty quickly, others in the group will also start mimicking it. So I just want to remind everyone, take your self-defense training seriously, and also remember that in every state there are two court systems, the criminal courts and the civil courts. Meaning, if you ever have to really shoot somebody in self-defense, you risk being criminally charged in the criminal court system if the courts find an issue with your self-defense, and you also risk being sued by the dead criminal's surviving family members in civil court. Now let me say this, it's your actions in a self-defense situation that should decide if you get in legal trouble or not when you use violence to defend yourself against a bad guy, and it should not be your words. But if you get into a self-defense shooting, and during that shooting, you let a slew of curse words aimed at the bad guy, but you let a slew of curse words out before or during or after the shooting, then there's a good chance that an overzealous prosecutor or an attorney hoping to win big bucks for the family members of the dead bad guy, but they may try to use your words to paint you as a crazed vigilante bent on killing the bad guy instead of using only the reasonable force necessary to protect yourself. And they may try to argue that since you were more bent on killing the bad guy instead of defending yourself, that therefore you must have used excessive force. So while the only question should be if your actions were legally justified or not, you can pretty much guarantee this overzealous prosecutor or money-hungry attorney will use your foul language against you in court. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that just because you let a curse word slip during a deadly confrontation that it means that you're automatically going to go to prison or that you're automatically going to lose in civil court. Actually, some strong language slipping here and there can actually help your cause and actually show exasperation on your part. An example of this is the Castile shooting by that Minnesota cop. After the shooting, the cop is standing there frozen and ends up dropping the F-bomb. And it's a common thing for people to yell out something like that when a situation goes the opposite way than what they wanted. When that cop yelled out the F-bomb, it showed that he was not happy about having to shoot Mr. Castile, and that it was not his intention for it to end up in a shooting. Now let's not turn this into a discussion if it was a justified shooting or not. This was just an example to show of somebody that wasn't wanting to shoot. Whether he wanted to shoot or not is totally different than if it's justified or not, and it is also not the topic of this video. So my suggestion to you is, if you ever find yourself in a deadly force situation, try not to let any vulgarities actually be directed at the criminal himself. Calling him a dirtbag or telling him that he's going to regret he ever met you and other statements like that will probably get used against you to defame your character in court, whether it be criminal court or civil court. Now, if you yell something like, drop the effing weapon, or don't make me effing shoot you, just please drop that effing knife, statements like that will probably help to show you that you were in extreme panic and in extreme fear mode, and may be used by your attorney to articulate to a jury how the actions of the bad guy got you so pumped up and so in fear that the expletives started pouring out of your mouth. So let's take a look at a quick video of a scenario where the defender uses a lot of curse words to defend himself, and he also displays the attitude that usually comes with it.
What's up, man? Don't you see me standing here? Hey, my apologies. It was my fault. I don't care about your apology. You know what? You and your knife away. That's it.
Now, it's hard to tell in the video example, but the bad guy with the knife actually takes a step towards the defender right before the defender pulls his training gun and shoots the bad guy in self-defense. So in the video, while the defender is cursing and insulting the bad guy, he doesn't actually shoot the bad guy until the bad guy takes a step towards him with the knife. But using the video example, even though the bad guy actually advanced on the defender with a knife, can you see how the government, in an area that doesn't like citizens defending themselves, but how the government may try to go after the defender legally in that situation? Can you see how they would probably argue that the defender actually escalated the situation by verbally berating the bad guy instead of trying to de-escalate the situation? Now, I live in a pretty conservative area, and in my area, the prosecutor would probably say that the defender had no legal duty to retreat, and that once the bad guy pulled the knife, that he was the one who escalated it to a deadly encounter. And they would also probably say that the defender acted within the scope of the law, even if he was rude and crude when he did it. But even if the defender gets lucky and he doesn't get criminally charged, do you see how an attorney will have a heyday with his actions and his words in civil court? So when I do my own regular training, I always train that when I start pulling my weapon that I start belting out voice commands. And I train using them without using any profanity. My hope is that if I am ever forced to shoot someone in the line of duty or in the line of self-defense, that my training takes over and the words that I've used thousands of times in my training will just take over. Anyways, folks, I hope this video helps to kind of show you how much headache that hurling a bunch of foul language towards your criminal could end up hurting you should you have to use deadly force to defend yourself. And if you do it in training because you think it's funny, just remember that what you do in training may just automatically come out of you during a high-stress, deadly encounter. Or if you see family or friends doing it in training, you may consider advising them in a polite way how it could come back to bite them. And last but not least, make sure you know the laws regarding self-defense in your area. Do your own research and make your own informed decision. Also, while I enjoy making these videos for pennies on the hour, I am wishing to purchase better video and editing equipment that will allow me to make better quality videos for you all without actually putting me into debt to make the videos. So if you have the disposable income, please consider joining my Patreon video channel, where for just $1 a month you'll get early access to videos and also receive special prepper and naturally made gifts from time to time and other exclusive Patreon member rewards when they become available. To help support our community, please subscribe and hit the like button. Please comment below. Please share this video on social media. And please make sure you have the bell icon hit for notifications of when videos are released. Find me on Facebook. Just type Ethical Preparedness page in the Facebook search box. Anyways, folks, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. And I pray that you have a good night.